Trying one more thing. Tina, are you able to hear us? Feedback.
There, yes, I am.
Tina, can you try one more time speaking?
Yes, let me see if I need to turn my volume up. How's that?
Colton, Tina, are you able to hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me? I hear you. This is Colton.
Sorry, just a second.
And I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you as well, Tina.
Can they hear me in the
Okay.
room?
I'm going to try one more time, Miss Tina. Tina, can you try us talking one more time?
Should I log out and log back in? Okay.
Colton, can you hear?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Colton, can you try one more time?
Yeah, it looks like you took us off mute, so you should hopefully be able to hear me now. Can you hear
I
us?
see that you're trying to talk, but it's not coming in. Just 1 second.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? That would be a big no. Huh.
Sorry for the delay. We're just trying to figure out why we can't hear on our side when you guys are talking. Just 1 moment.
Hi, Troy. I'm down in the mill. We're having park board right now, and it appears that we are not able to hear the members attending remotely. Do you have any ideas? Let me hand you over to Jacqueline. Yes. Yes. The volume is actually all the way.
Sorry.
All of them, people offsite.
Colton, you can still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you, Tina.
That's interesting.
Turn on the PC.
Yeah, I'm thinking it must be a issue on their end.
Yeah.
Start council meeting.
start executive session, all are in red, so that should be good to go. It's a, oh, 3 to 4. Yeah. So they can. Yes. They can hear me, but I can't hear them. They have to be off. One lesson we did it in Zooms. So I have myself on mute and the video I have is Bill. And it is what others.
Everyone hear me now? Right.
Not yet.
We tried shutting down the Zoom and restarting it,
So we're in a webinar format,
webinar.
and under the webinar format,
Good.
Colton, Tina, can you try talking for me, please?
How about now?
Can you hear us?
Let me turn you guys down a little bit. All right, thanks, Troy. All right, bye.
Good job.
All right, sorry about that.
thanks, Jacqueline.
All right, it's 6:11. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Maybe roll call,
Yes. So Brian,
present.
Carl,
Present.
Colton,
Present.
Dawn,
Present.
Roger, Susan, Tina.
Present.
All right.
Did we get any emails from Roger or Susan?
Susan did email. I did not receive anything from Roger yet, so I'll keep you guys posted.
Okay. Guest business. Doesn't look like we have anybody, anyone online.
No guests.
Okay. Action items, approve the August 12th, 2024 Park Board meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? All right, Motion passes. The August 12th Park Board meetings minutes are approved. Millspur closure fee, Jill.
Thank you. So if you remember at your last meeting, staff presented the updated park fees that we are proposing to be adopted in the formal fees resolution. And subsequent to that meeting, staff did an analysis and discovered that the Mill Spur, this is the road out here that we use as our festival street, did not have an adopted fee schedule for the closure of that. So a lot of events come in and they use that street for part of their event, and we just want an established, consistent fee to close it down. So before you tonight is a proposal of a $200 daily fee for the closure of Mill Spur Road in conjunction with any needed closure for that, such as an event.
Tina, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I do. Hey, Jill, do we currently charge anything for it?
I would have to, I believe right now it's charged as, is it the Public Works on-call rate or the hourly rate of staff?
Ah, okay.
It was my.
So would it be the, this $200 fee and the hourly rate?
It would not, and I need, Jacqueline actually had some additional information. At this time,
Okay.
we have not been charging a fee to close it. It's comparable to like closing the boat launch down. So it would be the same fee that we're proposing for the boat launch closure. And there would not be an hourly fee on top of that. It would just be the $200.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So regardless of how long, 5 minutes, 10 hours, $200.
Yeah, typically, if it was just 5 minutes, like say a load in or something, we wouldn't shut the street down for that. It would be for the duration of the event per day. So if you had an event that was going to take place over 3 days, it would be 3 days of the closure. And our staff is involved in that process of reviewing it and then pulling the bollards. And there are some expenses to the city associated with shutting that street down. Did that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
You bet.
So this would be for the farmer's market, for example?
So the farmer's market is it's a contract that we have with the market vendor. So through all of the fees associated with that are negotiated through that contract portion of it. I don't know if the proposal would be proposed in some way to capture those fees or not. My thought is that it's negotiated separately, but it would be for any of the other events that propose to come in and close it.
So for example, Saturday's event would have been a $200.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
What was Saturday's event?
It was the triathlon,
Oh,
and they use it as part of their course.
And it was busy.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
that's great.
Yeah.
Any other questions or anything that we need to deliberate on the park fee or the Mill Spur closure fee? Anyone online?
I do have one more question. So the amount 200 is the same amount as the boat ramp. And how did we come to that number? Like,
Yeah, so we have a Public Works after hours or overtime rate that's established each year in our by our finance director. So what we calculate generally is the amount of staff time, hours that go into it, or if there's any hard fees. In this case, there aren't any hard fees, such as like a subsequent permit that the city has to file with a different entity, but it would capture the hourly rate of the employees facilitating the closure of the street and the boat launch.
And it's taking down all the signs, putting the signs up, doing signs off site, in preparation, all of the closure stuff that we have to do, but then also the reopening of it as well. So
Yeah.
So if there was a multi-day closure, say like a week or something, wouldn't the majority of expenses be on the first and last day? would the city actually have to spend the $200 worth of hours the subsequent days prior to set up and tear down or whatever, putting back?
Generally not. We don't see it closed for multiple days very often. Aquafest is the one that comes to mind, is the only one that I can recall just off the top of my head tonight. But sometimes something changes within the closure or the barricades come down, and so our staff has to come out and reset those, or there could be costs associated with it. We don't anticipate a multiple day closure very often. But we also do, there is other things that have to take place, the residents, if there's any issues with the residents bringing in anything. And so those ongoing closures on a community could potentially have extra staff hours dedicated to them. And then, of course, at the end of it, bringing the bollards back and putting those in place and relocking it.
And for Aquafest, is that event put on by the city?
Aquafest is put on by the Aquafest group. It is separate with the city, but the city partners in that. So
Okay.
there's a lot of the work that the city puts forward to make sure that event is successful.
So they would have to pay a $600 fee to put on Aquafest
Or negotiated as part of their
permit.
their request to the city's services in kind.
And
So if a group wanted to have a big party,
Mhm.
do you have a number of how many attendees there will be that would cover the $200?
Yeah, when they file their event permit, they have to specify what city services they need. And that would just be one of the city services that they would need. So to require a permit as a park use permit, those are anything from 50 people and to 100 or to 99. And then once you have a gathering of 100 people, then you go into an event permit. And then there's an escalation of an event level 1 through 4, depending on what type of event and how long of the event. So it would be one of the services that you would request. You would check the box for it, similar to if you needed a traffic plan, or if you needed flaggers, or if you needed other things for your event.
So the size of the event is gonna fluctuate.
Correct. Mhm.
And the needs of the event too will dictate if they're going to have Millspur or need it closed or not. Because it may be just the boat launch. It might be just Millspur. They may need both of them. It just depends on what type of event they're having, what their needs are, and to make it safe for the community and the park, what would be in the best interest of both parties. So.
So do you need a motion? Are you looking for?
Correct. And this would be a motion to forward it as a recommendation to be adopted into the fee schedule.
Well,
I have
make
a quick question.
Sure.
Sorry, I didn't see your hand.
That's okay. Does the city charge itself, like for Harvest Fest? Is that something that or is that just an in-house budget?
That it would be an in-house budget. We don't
Okay.
pay permitting fees if it's going to be a local permit only, just that would be permitted through the city of Lake Stevens.
Okay,
We do capture that stuff in our financials of what it takes to run it so that we know what our losses, instead of having it open to be rented or used by somebody else in the community. So we do have that.
okay, great.
Any other?
So, I was
ahead.
gonna move to accept this fee schedule of $200 for closing Millspur.
So you're making a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to move that. Yes, I'm making a motion to charge $200 a day to have the Millspur closed. Did I get that right?
What was that called?
I'll vacate my motion.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't hear your motion.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Did we hear Colton? I didn't hear.
Oh, that was I accidentally didn't I missed the mute button there.
Okay, thanks, Golden. All right, motion passes. Okay, discussion items, budget request overview, Jill.
Yes, budget season is upon us. And so we thought that we would just bring forward to the Parks and Recreation Planning Board the proposed budget items that Sarah has put in for the Parks and Recreation budget. And so we are requesting 3 new staff members and various equipment to support the capital projects. This would be items like the robot painter to paint the lines on sports fields, and then some maintenance equipment for the synthetic turf that will be installed up at Frontier Heights Park. So we just wanted to talk about those and get, any input or feedback that you might have, answer any questions that you may have on any of those budget requests. This is in the beginning of the budget season, so there will be several different opportunities for the public to be involved. Of course, the park board is encouraged to be involved if they want to attend any of the public meetings on this. And the council retreat will be September 13th. That's coming up this week, and they're going to be presenting it to the council for discussion at that point. So the items are on the attachment here. We're requesting 1 maintenance worker, and that's because we know Frontier Heights is going to have a build out. We're going to have, just increased needs. And then we're asking for an office assistant. This will also help as we're managing our sports fields and booking those. And then also to take some of the load off of our existing office staff, as they are pretty busy these days. And then a revenue development position. And the revenue development position would be looking for grants and monies available through sponsorships and different funding sources to help offset the cost of parks and recreation in the city. We anticipate that position would be a cost neutral position. They would be seeking out sources of funding that would cover some of the, employment costs. And then we are looking for a boat with a trailer. Our existing boat is from the 90s, early 90s, but unfortunately it's at the end of its useful life, and we're getting towed in it at least once a year. So we need to look at a boat that's for maintenance of the swim lines, and to also place the lake safety markers to show, as I think many of you have seen out on the lake, property owners can purchase a lake safety marker here. And then after an analysis, if it's approved, then it gets placed about 100 feet off of the nearest structure to kind of delineate what that line is and help that near shore environment, and then create kind of a safe area for those non-motorized users. So the Parks Department places those, and so the boat would be used for that as well.
Ms. Tina has a question. Ms. Tina, go ahead. Tina, did you have a question?
I did. Sorry, my dog's throwing up. So,
Oh, that's okay.
what was my question? Oh, we had those playgrounds that we took down, pretty much when Sarah got here. Now, is staffing and equipment the only part of the budget that we're asking for? Or are we asking some for capital projects, replacement?
Yes, there is a capital project list that's adopted and will be adopted as part of the CIP, or the capital improvement plan, capital facilities plan.
Okay,
And those are, I don't have them off the top of my head, but yes, there is capital project money being requested
okay.
through our 6-year capital plan.
Oh, good. Okay. Is that going to be presented to us, or is that part of their, the council's, retreat?
They're going to be briefed on all of the capital projects. So it would be parks, roads, all of the infrastructure. It's a pretty meaty list, and I'm happy to bring that back at our next meeting.
Is that?
Yeah. Is it pretty much what's in the plan, oh, what's it called? Chapter 5.
Comprehensive plan?
Thank you.
Mhm.
Is it
Yeah,
pretty
I would-
much what's there?
Yeah, I would have to go back and check, because there's at different years, different requests will come in, but yes, it
Oh.
would be based off of the existing capital project plan
And
in the Parks and Rec.
And just after our last meeting, I sent an email out to all of you that gave the overview of all of our capital projects and the budget that we're asking for on that. So that was in the
Oh.
email. If you
Okay.
want to take a look at that.
Okay, thank you.
I had a question.
I'll be right back.
Are those all requested full-time positions?
Correct. Yes.
I have two questions. What's a UTV?
Yeah, so that is going to be the vehicle that it's a utility vehicle, such like a side by side. And though that will be requesting with the trailer and for the synthetic the groomer for the synthetic turf.
So it's just like a little thing that's gonna pull the groomer thing around.
Correct. Yeah.
Is it only for something like that? It doesn't have any other use?
No, we'll use it for, if there's other needs that arrive, or arise for that. We have a side by side that we use now in parks. We use it a lot during events, and then we also water off of it, like all of the plants around the mill, the hanging baskets, and we do a couple other things with it as well. So no, we'll use it certainly for towing the groomer.
And
But
my other question was, could we get a meeting invite to that city plan or that meeting, or is that just something that we go out online and find?
we can send you the information for sure.
That'd
Yeah.
be great.
So I can send you the link that you can go into the Zoom to watch it and go from there. So
Thanks.
And then, so that's the synthetic turf groomer as well as the sweeper, and that's for maintenance to be done on the field. Once you get a synthetic field, there is quite a bit of maintenance that needs to be done on a regular basis. So that will get us on our way. And then a skid steer, we're actually splitting that with Public Works. So we're going to share the equipment with Public Works. So we'll get it for a third of the time. And then a robot painter, like I mentioned before. So that's it's a device that you program it to what type of field, what size of field that you want. And then our maintenance crew would be able to let it do its work while they're also maintaining the site. So those are the equipment and staffing requests that we're proposing for City Council. So every department submits all of their requests, and then the City Council deliberates on that. And they do it several different types and different times, and then they have public hearings as well when they're adopting that budget process. There's also a section of the website that's been dedicated to the budget process, and I think it's called ClearGov, but we can also give that information to you as well. We can send it out.
So in the parks, or like, is the Parks Department responsible for all park maintenance?
Correct. Mhm.
So Public Works doesn't have anything to do with parks anymore.
Correct. Yes, when the City Council decided to form the department, that was part of that, the charter, if you will, for that program, is that all of the parks maintenance would come under the Parks and Recreation Department.
So what is the park department's like strategy for weeds? Do we have is that like a crew of people, or is it a volunteer type of thing?
Both, we have our dedicated crew that does weed, and they maintain all of the landscape that we have throughout the city and any park. But then there are groups also that use that as opportunities for outreach to the community. And then, and so we had a large group, Ebenezer, in here this last weekend, and they did a bunch of weeding in North Cove Park. And so sometimes a large group will come in and take over the needs for our crew, but generally, the lion's share of that, of course, is done by our Parks and Recreation crew. We have not been at full staff, so it's been a lot for them to keep up on this summer, but we are, and you'll hear a little bit later that we have 2 new employees, so we're very optimistic. They also clean the restrooms every day and take out garbage and do all that. Yes, Carl?
For clarification, West Lake Park,
Yes. That's the property down on 20th Street Southeast.
Okay,
That's under construction. You'll hear a little bit about that in the parks update.
okay. Thank you.
You
Mhm.
bet.
All right, any other questions on the budget request? Okay, we'll move on to North Cove Low Flow Dock. Low Float Dock, I'm sorry.
Yes, so at North Cove, we've had a dock that's a low profile. It's for non-motorized users. The Row Club uses it for some of their programming. And then anybody on a kayak, canoe, paddleboard can launch and return off of that floating dock. It's at the north end of the property. And it has reached the end of its useful life. And so the city is going to be installing a dock to replace that dock and then also kind of bring it up to the standard that is needed to support the programming that it's seeing out there. So the new dock is proposed at 9 feet wide and it'll be 120 feet long. And then it has a light transparency to it, which will be an improvement for the lake ecology. And then it will have a formalized ramp. So you'll be able to transition from the shoreline through the ramp down onto the dock. And that will really increase the accessibility and the usability of the site, as well as remove the parts of the infrastructure that are failing. So we wanted to just let you know about that project and then also answer any questions, of course, if you have any of the project. But it was, it'll be very nice when it is completed.
This is gonna be similar to the one that we just did at Davies.
It's similar. Yeah, it'll be a little different style and it has light transparency for it. But in the same vein of the same use of having a low profile dock for easy transition from the dock into a,
But it'll be a different style.
correct. Yeah.
So
In some of the pictures, it shows kind of a little bridge ramp going onto that ramp. Is that
That's correct. Yes. So as you've seen, and to that point of Brian's, that when you see the transition from Davies, it transitions just from the existing dock. This is a separate abutment. It's going to be a separate dock. And then I included some pictures of this product in another jurisdiction, just to show you kind of the style of it.
So this will be the style that's gonna go in over here and it'll be separated from the motorboat.
Correct. Correct. Mhm.
And is this going to be like off to the left or will it be closer?
If you're looking out at the water, it's the furthest to the right.
Furthest to the right? Okay.
Correct.
so with this bridge and with the new dock, is that going to extend farther than the one is now?
Yes. Yeah, it will.
Roughly 20
Um,
feet, 50 feet,
About 30 feet.
30 feet? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
You bet.
All right. Any other questions on the low float dock?
Tina, go ahead.
I have a question on I guess, the funding. Is the rowing club included in this or is this?
Yes, yes, they are. I don't have a lot of information on the financials, but yes, the rowing dock is owned by the city, but then there's a cost sharing in place for the rowing club.
Thank you.
You bet.
Tina,
If I leave, will there still be a quorum?
You're gonna have 4 of 7.
Yes.
Okay, I gotta take my dog to the hospital. She's been throwing up all day, so
No.
I gotta run.
Oh,
Okay.
absolutely.
I'm sorry, guys. But
Oh,
I looked at the whole agenda and so everything, I'm happy with everything. The only thing I wanted to bring up with my board report was that I wanted us to go back and talk about again whether we want to have meetings once every other month or once a month. And so if that could get put on the agenda, that would be great.
Sure.
and we do have that noted to go over in our November meeting. So
Okay, perfect. Okay, well, have a great meeting and I will see you guys later.
Thanks, Tina.
Thanks, Tina.
Okay, on to September Parks update. Bill.
Yes, thank you. So Oak Hill Park, the playground was opened up to the public, reopened to the public after a delay there. So we're awfully happy about that. The first part of the Legacy Fish Project installation began today. I noticed when I walked in that they had part of the skim coat on there. So it looks like that project is moving along. Arts and Parks Foundation has been working on that for quite some time. So I'm sure they're excited about it. Too. And then Westlake Park, the construction is moving along as planned. The area for the dog park has been graded out and the fence is going to be installed. And then there's a parking area just north off of 12th Street, and that's been graded and prepped. I will run out there tomorrow and take a look at anything that's happened between when this went out to date or went out to publish. So, but we're real pleased with that project as it's coming along. And I did want to touch base. I know that Brian had asked at our last meeting regarding the Centennial Woods property. And as you know, we had proposed a while back a pump track for that property. And the feasibility came back on that it was just not feasible in that location. The property is pretty heavily encumbered with critical areas. And then the PSE, which is the utility provider next to it, is not able to grant easements for the construction there. So the city's still looking for additional sites for those. Eagle Ridge concept plant, we got that from our consultant and we attached it here for your review. It's very consistent with what we presented to you at a previous meeting. But this really kind of helped spatially orient me to the site, and I hope it helps with any questions that you might have for that. It also kind of shows what's existing there. So I always find those really helpful when I'm trying to envision the project. But I'm happy to answer any questions on that. I just wanted to make sure that you had it. The parks crew is working through some of those mini parks. And so one of them located over at Jake's Place or the Timberland neighborhood, which is over just slightly south of here and a little bit to the east, got a facelift. And there's a picture of that there. So we replaced the fall protection and then maintained the play structure itself. We are thrilled to have 2 new employees. We have Joel, and he started on August 26th, and then Nathan will start on September 16th. And those will be members of our crew and helping boots on the ground and getting the daily work done out there. So we had also each year, the Parks Department goes out and does walkthroughs to see every bit of every one of our parks. And so we had 160 tasks that were carried over from 2023's inspection. And then 440 new tasks were added in the spring of 2024. And 71 of those tasks have been completed. And then I think some of you may have seen our trails. This is our recreation guide. We had our first issue last quarter, and we have distributed our second issue. The fall winter one is out. It's out on our website and through all of our social media, and gives you an overview of what's happening in the community and what events are coming up. And then movies in the park. We got rained out for the last one, The Goonies. So it's going to come back on September 14th at Lundin. And that's going to be a Saturday. We usually have them on a Friday, but this one we're going to change it up a little bit. So it'll be out there. And the Mills Open House, we have a lot of requests for viewing the mill. So we have a staff member that comes over and conducts and facilitates those viewings. But we're hoping we can kind of start to consolidate those so that all the folks that are interested in taking a look can come to the open house. So we're having that open house Thursday, October 10th. And then Harvest Market will be coming up Saturday, October 12th, and that will be here at North Cove. And then Harvest Fest will be Thursday on October 31st at North Cove Park on Halloween itself. And that's all I have for you for the parks update.
All right, thank you, Jill.
I had a question.
Sure.
For the 440 new tasks that were added,
Mhm.
is there a completion date? Is that what you have to have those done by 2025? Is that what the new staff that you're hoping to hire and that have recently hired will help complete those 440?
Absolutely, yeah. So the tasks can be anything from, we need to replace that garbage can receptacle when we have time. Or it could be something really urgent. So all the urgent ones are prioritized and those ones are knocked off really quickly. But then there could be, I'm trying to think of some of the items that we had on there before. They could be pretty small or they could be pretty large. So yes, absolutely. We're trying to do them as fast as we can. And so as there's time available, it could be removing a sign when the crew is out in the park and they're doing their normal maintenance. If they can slide by and do this, then it knocks it off. But like I said, we've been down some staff members, and so we're hoping that will pick up really quickly and we'll be
Yeah,
able
so
to.
those 440 things that kind of just run the gamut of small, medium and large.
Exactly.
accomplished.
And
Yeah.
on our spreadsheet, we have them prioritized by a number from 1 to 9. And that kind of shows them like high priority to when we have the means to do kind of a deal. Some of them have been kind of put off to the side because as we are doing the new construction, some of those are going to be taken care of at that time. And so
Mhm.
those are other things that we take into consideration.
And anything, safety associated, it comes right away.
Sure. Thank you.
So when we
Okay.
do our park reviews that we're supposed to be doing, our walkthroughs, whatever we report gets cross-referenced against this list?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you see something in the park and you send it to us, if it's new, then we get eyes on it. And then if it's something that we already have recorded, then we just make sure that we're capturing it and that our crew is aware of it.
Sounds good. All right, on to board member reports. Should we start with Colton?
Hi, Brian. Sorry, I was driving, but nothing to report from me. Thank you.
Thanks, Colton. All right, Carl?
Well, from the Parks Foundation, as you probably noticed, we have put the tiles in at the water feature, make sure it's a water feature. And it's really pretty cool. It runs the whole distance from Mount Pilchuck. And is not bothered by, the cement looks better and everything. It's just really cool. It's taken us 3 to 4 years probably to develop that on and off at the Parks Foundation. Next is our fish. We're almost out of the by now. I've sold them all. And we'll be working on installation. We'll be painting a cement wall on this side of the water feature. And then the fish will be added with a screwed on it to the cement. They're a metal stainless steel. And then the inscriptions and stuff beyond that. So another getting close to a big project that's been pecking away at for quite a while.
So you sold all the fish?
The last I knew, we were short a few, but I tried to tell people at the last market, you better get it now. The price is going up. So I'm not sure. I haven't checked with Jim, but it's close. So, and we've also discussed if there's enough interest that maybe find a couple other spots.
Yeah, we got that one right there.
Very good. So anyway, it'll look great. And like I say, the tile really adds to the happy kids bouncing around.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah.
It looks really good.
And the guy came out, it's just unbelievable to put those tile in. To get them all cut, and he came out really, really close. It's just. I couldn't do that, sitting on my knees, on his hands and knees. So, anyway, good news. Long, slow, but we're making progress. That's it.
All right, thanks, Carl. Don?
Nothing to report.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. So I just had a couple of things. I visited the Port Angeles Pump Track and Dream Playground. I sent Jacqueline a couple of pictures. This was actually a little zip line, which I thought was really cool. And I thought it'd be awesome to get something like this in our park. You can see it's not a very great picture. Sorry about that, but at the end, there's a little ramp, and then there's this. Can you zoom that in a little bit? Yeah, so you can see there's like a little thing that hangs down. You can you put that between your legs and sit on it, and then it swings down, and then there's a bumper stop right there on the top, and it swings you back and forth. So little kids were seeming to have a really good time on that. That was really cool. The dream playground that they had there was just awesome. I have a couple other pictures of that too. I just wanted to share it with the park board. It'd be really neat to see if this was one of the carvings that a couple of the carvings that they had out there. That was really cool. And then I think there was another carving of like a tree or something, yeah. That was really cool. And this really neat playground totally reminded me of the one that we used to have at the school up over here at Pilchuck Elementary. Super popular. It was just a really, really well done park. And I thought, wow, it's gorgeous. Tons of fun, whimsical things that I think drew interest and unique. It's not just like what you see at every other playground. So I thought that was really nice. I think there's two more that had like a boat thing, and then there's another one that had like some whales and some little hills for little tykes to play on. It was pretty cool. I think there was one more picture on the playground. Yeah, I think it was really neat. There's a lot of stuff for all different age groups. I thought they did a really good job, kind of fenced it all in. Seemed really safe, really, really clean with the turf and everything. Looked really good. And then I think I have some pictures of the pump track.
You do. Can I ask, what was the name of the park again?
This is called the Port Angeles Dream Playground. And it's right on Race Street.
Okay.
And this is the coolest pump track and the funnest pump track that I have ever done. It's got an awesome wall ride, which was super fun. They were having I was there for a soccer game, but they were having the Northwest Cup, which was a downhill mountain bike competition. And they had a ton of kids out there that had just unbelievable skills doing amazing things on the pump track. And there were kids from like little kids on those push bikes without pedals to guys like as old as me out there having fun. And it was really cool to see like teenagers, little kids, everybody kind of, doing different things and merging together. So that this circle in the middle was super fun. You could do all kinds of different features off of it. So you could like gap into it or jump from one side into the other bowl and do all kinds of different things, but every single thing is rollable. So, kids can easily do everything without getting hurt. And then experts can like gap things or double things or, jump into the bowl, jump out of the bowl into a berm or whatever. But the pump track was awesome. And it's, I think there's one other picture, but, yeah, I think that was the same one. I guess I sent two of the same, but basically that one's pretty large. Yeah. So there's just some kids hanging out there, and it's right next to the Dream Playground, which was cool. And then they have the skate park right to the left of it. You can see just off to the left of this picture is their skate park. So it's got a lot of really good use. So there was skateboarders and kids on scooters that would pump away on the pump track and then switch over to the skate park and play around. So it had really good dual use between the two. So I just wanted to share that with the park board. I also submitted a request to Snohomish County to see if we could do something on Cavallero. They said they would review it in 6 months, so we'll see what happens with that. But I did put in a request to see if we could make use of the dog park once we move into West Lake Park. So we'll see what happens there. I also visited the Redmond Bike Park, and I talked to the Redmond Parks director, I believe it was, and he was telling me about how awesome it's been for the community. So I thought that was really cool. And he also said he would come and talk to the park board or the city council if that was something that anyone wanted. And then I guess I did do some park walkthroughs. And the main thing that I noticed was weeds, which I kind of brought up because it just seemed like there's a lot of weeds kind of taking over some of the specimen plants that we have out there. And then some of the grass looking like it needs to be revived. And I think I wanted to see if we could get an update on the dock spaces that we were gonna put out there.
Or
For
the,
North Cove, I think we were adding like 11 boat tie-ups or something like that.
so that project has been combined with the North Cove Marina rebuild. So the guest moorage at the North Cove Marina will incorporate the guest moorage for day use downtown, rather than putting it on the pier. It appeared to be quite a conflict of use with the swimmers that are using that area right now. So it was just determined that it would be cost effective to combine the two projects and then redo the North Cove Marina, which we are seeking planning dollars for right now. And then we'll be going out for an RCO grant on our boating facilities, I believe.
So that's the other one's off and now we're combining it with this one.
Correct. Mhm.
Did we announce that in the park, one of the parks meetings?
Oh, I'd have to check. I thought that we did, but we can find out.
I don't know. You guys remember?
Comprehensive plan. I think we touched base on it. I don't think we went in depth, but
Okay. And then I guess, just a question about adding additional trails at Eagle Ridge through the forested area. I know we have one walking trail. Is there a possibility of adding additional trails in there?
We can definitely talk with Sarah about it when and just so you know, she was out. So that's why you just have me for this meeting. And so I can definitely touch base with her and see where we're at with that project. I know we were holding until we did the plan set for the redevelopment or the development, excuse me, of Eagle Ridge Park, but we can definitely look at what type of a timeline it would be to explore options there.
Okay, all right, that's it for me. And I think that brings us to the end of our meeting. Oh, I guess upcoming agenda items. Are there any, Tina added the discussion about moving back to potentially monthly meetings or whatnot.
I noted that for the next meeting.
Were there any other agenda items that the board wanted to bring up for next meeting?
I don't know.
Anything from you, Carl?
Can't think of anything right now.
Anything from you, Colton?
No, not that I can think of. Thanks.
Okay. I get a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
All right, meeting adjourned. Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
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 And no one's opposed. All right, meeting adjourned.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.